Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur here on this fantastic evening. Everybody can hear me? Everybody okay? Everybody all right? Jeez, man, I think I'm still hungover from the game yesterday because you can't have that kind of party and then expect everyone to show up to work the next day. Takes a little while. Got to get your head out of the toilet in the morning. You got to figure out where you are. Strange things happen. Eat a lot of carbs, some Chinese food perhaps, greasy stuff, and then you feel a little alive. Got a strong black coffee, and I've got two dear friends from different parts of the world. One all the way left, one all the way right. I've got Lisa Sthalekar joining us from Australia or New Zealand. You look like you're in detention.
Hi, Sydney. I'm at my father's place. I'll tell him that.
Yeah. Is he? He still has a hold over you, does he? You've got a very worried look on your face.
I was just worried.
Lisa, are you okay?
Yeah,
Give us
okay.
a signal if you need us to see.
I don't need to be released just yet.
Oh, then it's fine. Then she's all right. And we've got another person here who is very happy because his party never ends because he's sitting in front of 36 bottles.
They always
Vaughan
say, hi. They always say if you're thirsty, it's too late. So just make sure you've always got something beside you.
Listen, I don't know how you guys reacted to last night's game, but when I woke up this morning, I really felt like I'd had a rager of a birthday party. Lisa?
Yeah, crazy game, wasn't it? I didn't stay up and watch it all. I actually watched it later on when I woke up, and I actually watched it with my father. He goes, "Oh, this is an absolute nail biter, isn't it?" It's just the ebbs and flows, and you thought either team could have easily won it, but that's probably the match of the IPL 2022 so far. But yeah, it was such a great game.
Yeah, high class. A little bit of leg spin. Umesh Yadav macking a few at the end that you think, is he going to? Butler. I think once again it's proven he's right up there with, if not the best T20 player in the world. A little bit of a nail biter, but runs on the board. Once again, works.
Always. But here's the question now. How many, Lisa? Because last night, that was almost not enough.
Yeah, but I mean, Bradman Stadium, the deck, the short side of the boundary, those type of things really do play in how well a team can chase down a total or how poorly an opposition can bowl as well. So, the match today at DY Patel, obviously different surface, different dimensions, not known for a huge high scoring affair. So, I think if you bat first and you get 180 plus, you are putting a lot of pressure on the opposition. And I reckon something in that vicinity today would be tough to chase down.
Michael, my question is, but when will a team win the toss and bat first?
They're not allowed to. It's written in
against the rules, isn't it?
No, it's written in the contracts this year that you're just not allowed to do it. Forget what the stats and the information says. It's happened again this evening. Even on this venue, the last two games, the team batting first has won the game. Rahul's won the toss and decided to bowl. So it's clearly just a method that many of these teams, franchises, just prefer to see a number and chase it down, even though we're seeing so many times that the team that get a score on the board are winning the game. It's just obviously something that all these players feel more comfortable with, seeing a number or squeezing, i.e., the Sunrisers are brilliant at squeezing and chasing down. But when you allow a team to get a big score, there's not many teams chase down the big numbers.
Lisa, maybe you can answer that question for us because you are from the future. I mean, you're 5.5 hours ahead of us. So
true.
Does this happen in the new world? Does it ever happen that a team wins the toss and bats first?
It's almost like you don't want to be the first captain to do it and lose because everyone is expecting you to win the toss and bowl first. So it's going to have to take someone brave. I reckon as the tournament goes on, and as the used pitches of the four venues, they start to wear a little bit more, we may see teams start to bat first. I mean, everyone was concerned about the dew to start with, but it's now not really having an effect like it used to. The whatever the spray that they put on seems to be stopping the juice. So I reckon we're close. I really hope maybe this weekend, maybe the day game, surely the day game.
Yeah,
but I guess I think that's the problem at the minute in T20 cricket. It's a great format. We get great entertainment, great spectacles, but there seems to be a common trend that a lot of these teams and franchises and management groups, they all seem to have the same data. It's the same data analysis units that's kind of being used by all the teams. So once one team does one thing, because the analysis, quite hard for me to say this afternoon, once the data team give you this information to say that you have got more of a percentage chance of actually winning by batting second, they pretty much go with all the data these days, which is understandable in one way. But when you keep clearly seeing that batting first has been quite good, and there's many teams doing it that way, you just think someone might break them all. Someone might be brave enough just to go, you know what, we'll have a bat.
Yeah. I don't know when that'll happen. Lisa says it'll happen on the weekend. So if it does, we will ply her with gifts. If it doesn't, then we get our money back from her. So that's just how we roll on Cricbuzz Live. There was a lot of excitement that went down all of a sudden.
As soon as you said money back, jeez.
Let's have a look at the Lucknow team. They have decided to go unchanged, and that is, well, no surprise. This is looking, Lisa, like a very balanced 11. I think the only question that anybody could ask at all was Manish Pandey perhaps came in for Krishnappa Gautam at 3, but that's the only reason you're asking that question is perhaps because they've played so many people at number 3, and it's still looking like the only spot that's unsettled for a largely settled team.
Yeah, I mean, the side at the top looks good. Stoinis, where he bats, hopefully not number 8 like he did.
Not 8. No.
Yeah, please, no. Not 8 ever again. But, I think you're right. That number 3 spot, they're still trying to figure it out. Manish Pandey, he scored a 38, I think, the last game. So that's enough to keep him in. I mean, he's a guy that scored hundreds recently in the Ranji Trophy. So he's had some form behind him. Hopefully he gets a little bit of a run because it's hard going in and out. And he's the type of guy I think he needs a little bit of love around him. So fingers crossed he gets it. But it's a good side. But that's the number 3 conundrum that they've had. They tried Evan Lewis a couple of times. That hasn't worked. Krishnappa Gautam, he did well with the ball, but didn't necessarily do well with the bat that game. That 38 just allows him one more opportunity, hopefully a few more.
But Gautam didn't get a chance to use his bat. I mean, he got out first ball, so maybe. But the question is about their bowling, because with Krishnappa Gautam, they had one extra option of bowling. But right now, if you look at their bowling, Michael, it's quite interesting because they're ticking all the boxes. But as when we were talking to Pommy and Joy last night, they're saying none of these bowlers are necessarily instilling fear in you. Like a lot of the teams have 1 or 2 bowlers who are probably top of their trade, top 3 of their trade in the world. None of these, but they're efficient and they're getting the job done.
No, I mean, Avis Khan's been useful of late. Jamira, but obviously that pace. I think they're quite a workman-like team. You've got Stoinis' couple of overs. Jason Holder's very smart cricketer. Bishnur really needs to come to the party more consistently. They, to me, are a bowling unit that needs runs on the board. That they're a squeezing team. That you look at the last game against Mumbai, they did bat first. They got 199. It was a brilliant knock by the captain, and then they squeezed in the second part of the game. I don't see that bowling unit like setting the tone. I don't see them blowing away teams, but I can see that batting unit under no pressure getting big scores, and then they can squeeze in the second part of the game. But you're right. There's no bowlers there, and it's not disrespecting them. There's no bowlers there that I don't think you'd lose too many kind of minutes at night sleeping. I think you'd be quite happy facing that attack, even though they're quite workmanlike.
Yeah, Lisa. Again, that's a good point, right? When sometimes does it help when you actually don't have one superstar, and then that just allows everybody else to be like a band of brothers and collaborate even better, and it's more than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, absolutely. There is no big ego that's kind of leading the pack. They all have to work together. And we always talk in cricket about partnerships, and we tend to always think batting partnerships, but bowling partnerships are just as crucial. And maybe they're starting to find their groove. I mean, probably Krunal Pandya hasn't really found his form with the ball or the bat really. He's only bowled, I think, the 4 overs once or twice his full complement. Bishnoi has been really good, without taking a lot of wickets. We mentioned Abish Khan, very good. So they're all playing their role. I still think they're probably, they'd like one more banker. I mean, because Stoinis, you're not sure what he's going to get. Krunal Pandya isn't giving the 4 overs. So they'd like one of those two guys just to step up a little bit more with the ball in hand.
Yeah, what is working for them though is that the squeeze that the spinners do in the middle overs is actually working for Lucknow. And as Michael said, if they have runs on the board, and that kind of helps them. They need their batting to give them something solid, and then they can do the squeeze. Let's have a look at the Bangalore team and see if they've made any changes. Interesting times for this Bangalore team. Interesting times actually for both these teams, because one of them can potentially jump to the number 2 position of the table. But there you go. It's Faf, Anuj Rawat, Virat, Glenn Maxwell, Dinesh Karthik, Shahbaz Ahmed, Manindu Hasaranga, Suyesh Prabhu Desai. So he still gets the game, carries on. Harshal Patel, Mohammad Siraj, and Josh Hazelwood, who Lisa seems to be doing a little better than his buddy out at the Knight Riders.
Yeah, Josh Hazelwood, he manages to just bowl that test line and length, doesn't he? He seems to have found his groove in T20 cricket, and thanks largely to the IPL and Chennai originally, kind of got him back into the groove. But he just bowls really well. Pat Cummins, on the other hand, at Kolkata is going the distance. But Josh Hazelwood, very smart by RCB to get him involved, and he's been able to take the new ball and put a bit of pressure on him.
And Michael, one of the things though with Bangalore always was in the previous years, you get Virat out, you get AB out, and then you're in trouble. Last year it became you get Virat, AB, and Maxwell, and you're in trouble. But this year they've got Dinesh Karthik, the Superman at the back end, who is pretty much just. It can be a train wreck up front, but he, like Superman, lifts up the train wreck and flies away with it, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a revelation. I mean, particularly against seam, he's been striking it at 140 against spin. So he's not doing too bad against the slower bowlers either. I just think he's got that real clear plan about the way that he's going to play. I think he's got great options. He's completely confident with all his options. I really like the RCB team led by Faf. I just think he's got that great manner of knowing how to deal with the different personalities in the side. There's Dinesh Karthik's record, averaging about 140, striking at 229. Boundary percentage of 37.7%. So he's having an incredible time of it. I guess it was probably a year or so ago, we never thought we'd see DK again playing like this, but it's quite a possibility that he could quite easily end up in Australia. I think he will be in Australia in October, November, and it's whether he's commentating or whether he's going to play for India. Because in this form, that 6 and 7 role in T20 cricket is so important, and he's playing better than anybody else. They have to start, if they're not already, considering for that position.
He's the best Indian number 6 playing out of the 10 teams right now, Lisa, because you have Hardik, who's his competition. Hardik's playing number 4. He's playing a completely different role in this campaign, being a captain.
Yeah, see, this is the hard thing for the selectors, isn't it? Because for the franchises, players will bat where they think they should bat to win games of cricket for that franchise. But then when you go to Team India, things are completely different. So it's whether you want players in form in that position and you want to select them. If that's the case, then DK's your man, especially at the moment from the front half of the IPL. I mean, we had the same thing with Marcus Stoinis. Because
Lisa, it's Michael. Lisa has made such an interesting point about playing in position and prepping for a position. I want to get your input on that because DK's spoken. He's been so vocal about the fact that he's been training, the simulation, his mentally is just for that number 6 finisher position. And even his coach has said after he won the game against Delhi, after Bangalore won that game. He says, I've been working really hard. Sometimes people don't believe it, but my aim is to do something special for the country. This is part of the journey. I've been doing everything to be part of the Indian team for the T20 World Cup. He wasn't 6 months ago. He could 6 months from now. But again, talking about the virtue of training for a particular position, for a particular role, it's very easy for people to dismiss that and saying, you're professionals, you're a good batter, I can send you to bat, with 2 balls left or with 2 balls into the game. So how does it make a difference? Does it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and he's given himself a great chance. I mean, it's a realistic chance that he will be at the T20 World Cup, and why not with the way that he's playing. I sometimes think, and that's why I would encourage all players to have something alternative to cricket that they can fall back on, or take their mind away from the game and go and get into, whether it's business, whether it's hobbies, whatever it may be. And in DK's case, over the last couple of years, he's gone into the broadcast unit. He's a natural at that, so it's given him his next career, if you like. I think he pretty much knows that when his playing days are numbered, he's going to be able to go and be a broadcaster. I'm sure he'll have opportunities to be a part of management groups as well, because he's a real clever cricket thinker. And I think what that brings is the ability then to go and play the game just for the game and just enjoy playing cricket with a clear focus, without all the external worries about, what am I going to do if I don't score? He doesn't have that worry, because he knows he's got something locked in now for his later life. India have got to make decisions, because for me, it's about that top of the tree. What are you going to do with your top 3? Because in that top 6, you need someone who can bowl. So Hardik has to play because he's going to offer you overs. That's something of a problem for the India white ball team now for quite a while, that none of your top 6 has been bowling. So that just puts too much pressure, and you're just a batting unit and a bowling unit. White ball cricket, you need options. You need lots of options, particularly in this era of the game. Rishabh Pant, left hand, he's got to play. DK, in the form that he's in at the minute, you have to seriously consider him at number 6, 7 in that finisher's role, which he's playing so well. And then there's Virat, there's Rohit, there's KL. Who's going to miss out? I've said for a while, Virat Kohli's best position in my eyes in T20 cricket is to open the batting. 120 balls, the power play where he can just play and just play his normal game, knowing that he'll find the gaps. He's got all the strokes. It gives him the best opportunity to go and get 100. And then around that, you've got players who can play the cameos, the Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabhs, Hardik Pandyas, then DK down the bottom end. If I was India and Rahul Dravid, I would seriously think about pushing Virat more consistently to the top of the order. And then it allows you more of these free-spirited players in the middle, and 1 or 2 potentially that might just offer you a few overs, which is very important in one-day cricket.
We are looking at Hardik, who's currently, he missed the last game. He's been batting, bowling, kind of great intensity, bowling his 4 overs in every game, and did pull up in one. So we're hoping for that. So let's see. You never know. 6 months is a long time. So much cricket being played. You don't know who will be available, who won't be, who might just step out and say, I don't want to play. Anything's possible. Well, anyway, let's have a look at the Lucknow bowl. Yeah, Lisa. Lisa knows what. Hey, listen, it happened in 2007. With the World Cup, some of the seniors decided to sit out, right? And went well that time. So
what you getting, Gareth? What are you going for?
Yeah. It feels like you got your ear to the ground.
Who are you leaving out?
I'm just saying that one of the seniors could just say that, listen, I don't want to, maybe I'll just sit this one out. Could happen, right?
And you're saying that's Virat, or are you saying it's... Okay,
I mean, there's 2 seniors in the team. There's Rohit and Virat. What if one of them says that, hey, I don't want to play?
Well, the captain is playing.
Captain's playing. So what if Virat drops another bombshell? Because he's been doing that in the last 6 months. One bombshell after the other. Well, Bangalore captaincy, white ball captaincy, test captaincy.
It's about time you got headlines. So you're saying Virat Kohli's not going to the T20 World Cup?
Goal. Well done. You got there in the end.
Well done with that headline. Could he? Let me ask a question headline. Do you think he could? Anything's possible, isn't it? Well, right now, let's talk about, I want to talk about Avesh Khan. I want to talk about Harshal Patel. 2 young, well, not so young, but 2 Indian bowlers for both teams who've been doing really well. Harshal, of course, had a fabulous year last year. Was the highest wicket taker. Avesh had a brilliant year last year as well. And Lisa, you could tell when Harshal didn't play that one game, Geez, they bled. They bled in the last 5. I think they gave away 83 or some such in the game he didn't play.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. He just knows his role, doesn't he? And last year, when they told him, yep, you're bowling at the death, again, it's training very specifically to what you're going to be required to do, a little bit like DK and what his role is as well. They gave him a very clear role. He knew that he was going in the side for that very reason. And he's focused on just being able to execute that skill. And he's, again, been able to deliver. And you're right, when he wasn't playing against the Chennai side, they did leak a lot of runs. It shows you how much they've really relied on him the last 18 months, really. But, when you look at the economy rate, the death overs, it's 8.89. Well, that's pretty good, given that everyone's going for about 13 at the moment within the competition. And then obviously you can put him in the middle overs as well, and he's been able to pick up wickets. So you won't see him with the new ball. He knows his role, and he's been able to execute it. And he's come back to a side where he started his journey, IPL journey, first with Bangalore, and then obviously went to Delhi for 6 years, kind of sat on the bench and kind of got a bit more opportunities, but then Bangalore got him back.
They don't even need him up front, Michael. They've got Siraj, they've got Hazelwood. Harshal's doing the job perfectly for where they need him to do the job.
Yeah, and also when you've got Wanindu Hasaranga, who's a magnificent leg spin bowler, primarily most times that he's bowling at the end or in the middle, they've already got a few wickets because they've got quality at the top and they've got quality in the spin department. So it's a real good operation that the RCB side have got this year. They've got pretty much everything covered. They've got the quality at the top with Josh Hazelwood. Siraj can just pretty much get wickets when he wants because he's that aggressive. He'll go for a few runs, but he's an aggressive bowler and he's there to get wickets. But Harshal Patel, the skill in T20 cricket is having options and variations. And Harshal's got lots of different slow balls, lots of different angle changes. He's quick enough as well. Very similar to Avish Khan. They're just skillful bowlers. That's what T20 cricket demands. If you're a one-trick pony, you'll get found out and you'll get dismantled. You've always got to keep adding to your repertoire of different deliveries to make it difficult for the batters to line you up, for the opponents to kind of know what you're about. And I think those two players in particular, each year they seem to just get better and better because they had another. Not saying it's like Warney back in the day. It used to have millions of different deliveries, zooters, hooters, grooters. But I think they, with experience, are just subtly knowing that an angle change here or there, or just a little variation here or there, is just asking the batter one or two questions that they've not seen before.
Zooters, hooters, grooters. I love that. I love that. Zooters, hooters, grooters. Avish Khan, let's talk about him as well, because you can tell that there's a bunch of these guys who are probably fighting for a few slots on that plane to Australia, because obviously Bumrah is in. You'd probably pick Shami as well. And then, Lisa, there's a few of them about. We've spoken about Harshal. Let's just also look at what Avish has been doing in this tournament, because he, again, previous season, this season, and the advantage with him is he also gives you the option of bowling in the power play if you need it.
Yeah, he and Natarajan from Hyderabad are the only two fast bowlers that have picked up 5 wickets in the power play and then 5 wickets in the death. So, those two players may be going head to head when they're thinking about the T20 World Cup here in Australia. But, the fact that he can bowl well with the new ball and then be able to execute his death bowling, it's a bit like what Michael was talking about, that they're very clever in what they're doing. And I think he's matured, he's understood and been able to read the play as well. And that takes time. That takes a few years of being in the IPL, getting hit, getting whacked, thinking that, okay, my gut instinct is to go to this plan. No, that didn't work. So it's failing a number of times, but then learning from that and then being able to put a plan in place that can be successful for you.
Talking about successful plans, the two new teams, their plans have been fairly successful. They've executed them perfectly. If you look at the points table, you'll have a look that the Gujarat Titans right up there, 6 games. They've got the 5 wins. And today you have these two teams playing, which are at number 3 and number 4. One of them will join Gujarat at 10 points. It'll have to be a very big win for them to actually take that top position because Gujarat's kind of run away with the net run rate. But hey, you never know. 1 point. If Lucknow can get a big win today, that 1 point could actually take them above Gujarat. Or for Bangalore, Bangalore could win this game today. And at the halfway stage, they could be on top of the table. Michael, do you think that Bangalore fans will be able to handle the joy of that?
Probably not. But I do think that they're well kind of drilled this year, and I just like the captain. I just think Faf. He's been a part of the Chennai Super Kings for years. He knows how to win this event. Very similar to Hardik Pandya going to captain in the new franchise. When you've been around a franchise that has been so successful, whether you're coming from Chennai to Mumbai, you're going to take all the good bits to your new franchise. And I think Faf has just got that knack, and he seems to have got the knack of getting the individuals within the side working nicely. There are egos in most cricket teams, and, your job as a captain is to make sure you massage them, manage them, get the best out of them, and also create a culture and a foundation for all around to flourish. And I just think Faf, whatever it is, he's got it. He seems to be working very nicely. So the RCB fans, I wouldn't say they can get really excited yet, but they can start to just, I would say pour it all the way to the top. The drink, just set the little foundation at the bottom. Just set the cocktail rolling early.
Do a little sniff and spit. Yeah,
that'll do. Just have a taster, just to make sure it's not off.
Yeah.
I still remember when Maxwell was bought the previous year, and everyone was, I was actually in Bangalore at the time, and they were going, "Why are you paying so much money for Maxwell? He hasn't scored runs in how many years?" But they've managed to unlock him, and I think that's also another reason why they've had a lot of success over this year, but also last year as well.
Well, if anybody deserves joy, it's Bangalore fans for sure. So today, could it be their day? Could it be half the tournament done for them and them being on top of the points table? We shall know. Right now, we have the little business of the joy factor question to get done with. Let's have a look at that. I hope he's not phoned it in today. There you go. That's a good one. On his test debut, this opening batter got hit by a bouncer 33 minutes into his innings, was retired, hurt, and never played another international match. Guess the player. Jeez.
Poor guy.
Yeah. First reaction. Absolutely right. Empathy. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Michael's thinking really hard. I think he knows something's going on. What's going
I
on?
reckon I might have played in that game.
Oh.
Just give me that question again. Give me again. Honest.
Well
No. It wasn't an opening batter. No.
Well, who were you thinking?
I was thinking.
Gavin Hamilton made his test debut in '99, and he was hit on the head at number 7. He bagged a pair, and he never played again. But he was at number 7. Opening batter.
No, that was not helpful at all from Michael Vaughan. So thank you for that.
Well, I've ruled one out.
Yeah, he's ruled one out. Now we just have to go through another 4,000-5,000 options. And I'm sure you guys, we're already getting correct answers in. Hashtag Cricbuzz Live. Send us those answers on Twitter. Hashtag Joy Factor. Please do that. We just have one important game to play, which is our guessing game. 20 overs, Bangalore batting first. How much are they going to get? Should we start? Let's start longitude-wise. So we'll start with Lisa because she's in Australia.
169.
One low bowling in a field.
Let me ask these.
Ask your minions.
Yeah, do you know? What's your character called that you have next to you, Gaurav? What's he called next to you? That
Ajit,
is it? Is it
Ajit? Yes.
Ajit. Yeah. Well, I've got little minions down here, and they help me out. 175, they say.
Ooh.
Okay, then it's easy for me. 183. All right, I'm going 183 then. And it's amazing you said Ajit because Ajit's now with the Bangalore team.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
That's where I have positioned him. I have sent them into the world to dominate. That's where they are. Will Bangalore batters dominate the Lucknow bowlers today? Well, that's the question. I seem to think so. 183. Well, could get that. We're going to see you at the end of the 10th over with an update. Cricbuzz Combox. That's going to be at the end of the 10th. Big thank you to Michael Vaughan and Lisa Sthalekar. Lisa, some coffee for you. What is it? Midnight? 1 a.m.?
No, I'm
Where
good.
are you? What are you? 1 a.m.?
Midnight, but I went to the gym just before we started, so good to go.
Jeez, I don't know what time zone you're running at. It's just crazy. All right, so she's going to be here with us through the night. Think about the sacrifice and tune in for our next show, right? Thank you so much for watching Cricbuzz Live. We'll see you in a bit.